Welcome everybody, good afternoon. It's a pleasure for me and from my colleagues from Tektor. My name is Denica Deneva.
Hello, my name is Victoria Pavlova.
And we are going to be your hosts this wonderful afternoon during the pitching forum devoted to the sustainability and more or less to the session devoted to Cleantech this afternoon. Before we start, I would like to share with you a couple of details about InvestHorizon. This is a 3-year program that started in 2019 and it's financed and promoted by the European Commission in association with Eureka. We from Tektor are the lead partner behind this consortium, and together with the rest of the partners that you can see here on the screen, BPI France, Meta, EBN, ESM Business School, Eura, and BWCon, we are delivering free services for 500 pan-European SMEs for these 3 years that I mentioned. And we are all trying to support them on their way of investment readiness. This pitching event this afternoon is, of course, under the umbrella of InvestHorizon, and the top companies from cohort 6 and 7 in the sustainability sector were selected to pitch in front of you this afternoon. Let me share a couple of housekeeping rules before we officially start. We're going to record this meeting, and we actually started it. In case you would like not to be recorded, please indicate into the chat. We'll make sure to stop the recording while you're presenting. We're going to ask you to rename yourself with the name and surname and the company, so we better know who is in the room. It's easier to shorten the distance. And of course, again, to shorten the distance, we would invite you just to stay with your camera on, so to see the faces. Last but not least, turn off your microphone unless you're invited to speak. This will make the quality of the call higher. And use the chat if you have any questions. We are here together with the colleagues to help you and to support you during this experience. What we have prepared for you. We have here a very short agenda. It's an 1.5 hour session, and we are expecting 6 companies to pitch. Before we start with the pitches, we'll give 30 seconds to each of our investor jury members to introduce himself or herself. After that, moving to the 6 pitching companies, as I mentioned, each of them will have 5 minutes to pitch, followed by 4 minutes of Q&A by the investors and experts in the room. During these pitches, we are going to share a link with all expert jury members. We call it evaluation link, and this will be anonymous feedback that we are gathering for the help and for the sake of the companies. So all the feedback that the jury members are going to share with this online evaluation will be shared back to the companies and help them improve themselves for the next pitches they have. More or less, this is what we have planned for you. And I'm eager to start with the very next slide and inviting some of our expert jury members that have joined us this afternoon to give us a brief overview, who they are, what they are doing, what do they invest in. I can see that we have with us this afternoon many of them, and we usually invite them in an alphabetical order of their surname to introduce themselves. So, Tim, good afternoon. Would you like to give us a 30-second intro?
Hi, good afternoon. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, good to be here. Welcome to everybody. So my name is Tim Debris. We're over at Alps Capital, so a venture capital firm based in Paris, but with a European and sometimes global scope. We invest in what we call clean mobility and energy, so everything around the energy transition. And we have a large focus for the moment on everything related to hydrogen. We invest in Series A, so early stage, Series B sometimes, and the typical investment tickets that we have are between 3 and 10 million euros. Excuse me. And we're very much interested in the technological side of companies. Our founders are from the industry and have entrepreneurial backgrounds as well. So we very much like to go into the technological details of all the blended solutions that you bring to market.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim, for the intro. I would like to invite Anton to introduce himself. Anton, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Anton Freda. I am a partner of AFK Capital. Is a an advisory company that is channeling family office capital into private equity and venture capital. I started back in 1986 in venture capital with Chase Venture Capital in New York, and been involved in a number of investments as an investment committee member as well of Indico Venture, the largest venture capital firm in Italy.
Thank you, Anton. I would like to invite for a short intro also Ekaterina. Hi, Ekaterina, nice to see you again.
Hi, nice to meet all of you. I'm here on behalf of Sabic Ventures. Sabic is a global petrochemical company. So we're looking for startups, Series A, B, to invest in areas of sustainability, circular economy, new materials, and anything what can be related to our business to bring competitive advantage. So that is it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ekaterina. Mark, would you like to introduce yourself next?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark Leduc. I'm from BSF Venture Capital. That's the venture capital arm of the BSF group. We invest globally in startups in the general area of chemistry, which means ranging from raw materials all the way to the applications and a new business model, sustainability, circular economy, and so on and so forth. So I'm happy to be here and looking forward to the pitching. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the intro. I will go over to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, would you like to give us a short intro?
Yeah, thank you. Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I'm with B2B Partners, and B2B Partners is a European venture capital firm. I'm part of the Industrial Technology Fund. We invest in seed and Series A stage companies with a 100 million fund. And one of our focus areas is resource efficiency, which is targeting being climate neutral in the climate and also efficient with the earth, natural resources.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I go over to Gerhard. Gerhard, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello everyone, nice meeting you. I'm the managing partner of VVenture, a German venture capital fund initiated by Matthias Willenbacher, who is one of the renewable energy pioneers in Germany and Europe, and founder of the UV Group, a project developer in this field. We are of the opinion that not only renewable energy is to be tackled to fight climate change, but also some other fields of interest. That's why we invest in agriculture, food, energy efficiency, and mobility issues. And we typically invest in seed capital stage and also Series A. Our tickets vary between 200K and 1 million. And I'm very keen to see what pitches we are going to have.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the intro. I can see a familiar face also in the name of Audra. Hello, Audra. Good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon, Denitsa. Good afternoon, Audra Shalal, founder and managing director of BOSS Consulting and Strategic Management, basically advising for international organizations such as European Commission, OECD, United Nations on reinforcing entrepreneurial ecosystems in the EMEA region. I sit on the board of several angel networks, the Nordic Female Business Angel Network in Helsinki, the Business Angel des Grandes Écoles in Paris, France, EBAN, the European Business Angels Network in Brussels, and helped set up one of the first angel networks in the Middle East in Bahrain, Temu. I have a diverse portfolio, but most of the, I'd say, main focus is on biotech, photonics, agri-food, food tech, and also on deep tech. So I'm very happy to be here. I know that also, as I'm on the jury of the European, the EIC accelerator for the European Investment Fund, this sector also is very interesting to see on the scale-up stage and also early stage. So also in our angel networks, we go from seed to also some in Series A funding. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Audra, for the intro. I would like to invite Marcel to go next.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Marcel van Berkel, working for the Circular Bio-Based Delta. We are typically interested in biotech, bio-based plastics, bioproducts, but also circular technologies like pyrolysis, gasification. We have an ecosystem for the bioeconomy, and we welcome startups and scale-ups.
Thank you so much. I can see that Hans Meyer is also with us. Sorry, Hans, I think I missed your name. Would you like to go next?
Thank you very much. Yes, my name is Hans Bernard Meyer. You see me in Cologne, basically where I'm based, but my company is a Belgian company, which has been in 10 years now in venture capital. With partners in Paris, we invest in one side in B2C business, which is a luxury, accessible luxury and retail, but at the same time also in food and beverages. And so the connection with this program this afternoon is basically in food and agriculture and sustainability. Kofi Moore, my company, we invest in Series A, and together with the Swiss, we invest in further rounds, Series B and pre-IPOs.
Thank you so much for the intro. I would like to invite now Patrick to introduce himself.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Patrick van der Meer. I work for the Brightlands Innovation Factory, which is located at the Gemmelot campus in the Netherlands. We scout and select and support startups in the field of chemicals and materials with a strong focus to circular economy, from bio-based materials, bio-based processes, to sustainable processes, recycling, etc. Typically, we have startups in our ecosystem from incubation and acceleration up to validating and scale up. So basically the whole range.
Patrick, thank you so much for the intro. I would like to invite Joost to introduce himself.
Greetings, everybody. Joost Vaterlo is part of Dow's corporate venturing team. Based out of Belgium. We scout for, invest in startups which are in principle directly aligned to the business activities that we have, with an emphasis on materials and chemistry. Thank you.
Thank you, Joost. I would like to invite now Kim Neal to introduce himself as well.
Hello, folks. Pleasure to be here and seeing some of you from before. I'm a serial entrepreneur at heart. I've worked with impact investments for many moons, and Opta Team is a group of investors where we do everything from early stage investments, pre-seed, seed, to facilitate and participate all the way to IPOs, actually. So we have been working with that for quite a while. I'm the previous chairman of the Danish Business Angel Network, who is very good at syndicating and also has become very much more impact oriented last couple of years. And definitely my background is IT investments. We love globally scalable, of course, to make as big an impact as possible. But health, green, clean, and things that do good. Thanks.
Thank you, Kim. In the meantime, I managed to see that we gathered a couple of more from the jury members. I would like to invite Rubina to introduce herself. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, wonderful.
Hi, this is Rubina Singh. So I work at Centrica, where I head up the ideation delivery team within British Gas. And basically what we do is look at new ideas and the technologies coming from across the business, but even outside, and how we can accelerate the time to market. My background is in Cleantech, and especially in Cleantech innovation, working with startups across UK and US.
Thank you so much. I saw that also Bruno is on board. Hello, Bruno, good afternoon.
Hi, Denise. So I'm Bruno. I'm a venture partner, venture architect for Cargill Inc., not Cargill Industrial Bioproducts, but Cargill Inc. And I'm based out of Europe, a team in the US, in India, in Asia, basically ag, food, climate tech, supply chain, fintech, insurance tech, investments, and partnerships, corporate partnerships. Focus a lot on data and digital. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Bruno, so much. And I think we have also Hans Manold with us. Hello, Hans.
Hey, my apologies for being late. The charms of the pre-summer rush and trying to get deals closed, so I'm sorry for that. I work for Finindus. It's a Belgian-based venture capital company, which is actually a joint venture between ArcelorMittal and the Flemish region. Our focus is mainly on Europe, investing in A rounds, B rounds, C rounds, around in technology companies with technologies around materials, sustainable manufacturing, and Industry 4.0.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the intro. I believe that I have given the word to everybody to introduce themselves. In case I have missed somebody, please raise a hand now. Otherwise, we can move to the next part, and it's actually the part of the Cleantech pitching session. My colleague Victoria is going to share into the chat the evaluation link for the expert juries to leave their anonymous feedback for the companies, which we will share with them after the session. You will have the different criteria there to grade them. And without further hesitation, here are our 6 gentlemen to be seen this afternoon. We're having the pleasure to welcome Thomas Fudge from WASE Limited as the first pitching company. I'm stop sharing my screen and inviting Thomas on stage.
Thank you. I'll just get my screen up.
Wonderful.
Is that sharing now?
Yes, we can see your screen whenever you're ready.
Fantastic. So hi, my name is Tom, co-founder and CEO of WASE, and we are unlocking the power of waste. Globally, 80% of wastewater is currently discharged into our environment untreated. And in the UK, we produce 5 million tons of unavoidable food waste. Now, both of these waste streams have an inherent energy that we can extract using the right technologies. Now, we're trying to do this through a technology called anaerobic digestion, which you can see here. They're generally large, requiring long treatment times and bespoke design, which increases costs. At WASE, we're taking the performance of large-scale AD and shrinking it into small modular systems. And we're doing this through our patent-pending electromethanogenesis process. Now, anaerobic digestion uses bacteria to break down organic compounds to produce biogas, which is carbon dioxide and methane. Using our novel electrode technology, we integrate this into the reactor. It stimulates the bacteria so that we can treat the waste 300% faster. And we also generate hydrogen within the reactor, so we can convert the carbon dioxide into methane, so we can generate 20% more energy. We've integrated our technology into our modular biocenters, which are transportable shipping container systems. We also have higher waste removal rates to meet stricter regulations. Our systems are 70% smaller than typical anaerobic digestion systems, so it's suited for densely populated areas. And we have a unique remote operating system that is powered by a biosensing of our electrode technology, meaning that we know the exact health of the system and can smartly operate it, removing the need for experienced engineers on the ground. And this means that we can give our customers a return on investment in just 3 to 4 years. Now, the global market for wastewater treatment technologies and biogas is growing and is currently worth 147 billion. Initially, we're targeting the UK market, where it's worth 20 billion, and there's multiple verticals that we can expand into. Initially, we're targeting the food and drinks industry, which is one of the 7 industries targeted by the UK government's net zero targets, and is also focusing within the UK breweries and distilleries, one of the fastest growing sectors in this industry, and is worth 870 million. These customers currently pay huge amounts of fees for waste disposal. We can treat both their solid waste and wastewater, enabling them to generate net 900 kilowatt hours of renewable energy every day from using one of our biocenters. We can recover fertilizers, reuse water on site, and save carbon. and the customers can save over £40,000 per year using one of our systems. We will give this to them through a leasing model, or we will sell the systems and then have ongoing fees using our remote operating service and for maintenance. We're currently working with multiple breweries here in the UK, and we're talking to partners that could distribute to other areas within the food and drinks industry. From here, we're expanding to other sectors where we're currently working with utilities, municipalities, and also the defence. And then we look to expand internationally, and we're currently in talks with the senior management team at Hitachi because they're really excited how they can take our technology and expand it into the Asian markets. We've currently got £600,000 worth of contracts under letters of intent that we can deploy once we've secured the investment. And then we'll look to expand internationally through our partnership with Hitachi and have 1,000 systems installed by 2025. Compared to our competitors, we can treat both solid waste and low strength wastewater, have the highest energy generation at the fastest treatment time to give the overall best life cycle cost. We have an award-winning team of 10 with previous research experience bringing new products to market and finance, all supported by a strong advisory board in the development, research and venture capital areas. Currently, we've had a paid pilot with the United Nations. We've secured pre-seed investment and over £600,000 in grants. And we've sold our first electrode systems and sensor technology to biofactories to upgrade their existing anaerobic digestion systems. We're currently raising £2 million so that we can then deploy our first commercial trials with multiple breweries here in the UK. And then we also have a further £1 million worth of contracts that are currently under review with Fenestra and the Royal Air Force, which would open up huge market opportunities as we scale. From here, we'd pilot with Biogen and Scottish Water, opening up other sector markets through partnership opportunities, and then scale up with Hitachi, starting with a pilot next year. And together with your support, we can change waste management from a model that is financially draining to one that creates real value from the energy and fertilizers that we can recover. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you so much for the presentation. Now is the time to open the chat for the jury members to ask their questions. Dear jury members, you can either type down the full question into the chat or indicate in some way that you have a question so we can give you the word. We'll use the chat for having the order who asked first, who goes first. I can see that Marcel has a question already. Marcel?
Yes, thank you so much for this interesting presentation. It looks very good. Do you have some experience with sewage sludge or manure?
So we've done some operations with manure, working with a farm, so cow manure and also horse manure. We haven't done trials on sewage sludge yet, just because of the legislation around doing trials with that. But we are talking to Scott. We've got a pilot planned with Scottish Water, and we're also talking to Anglian Water as well.
Another question, you didn't touch the IP part. Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, so we currently have.
Did I miss it?
No, it was in a backup slide, just to fit in with the time. So we currently have 2 patents pending. One is an EU and one is a PCT patent. The second one builds on the first, and it has over 15 claims. So it's quite a broad patent that we'd want to expand out later on. It currently covers our electrode technology, but also how it could integrate into existing anaerobic digesters and for utility solutions. So it's quite a broad pattern that can sort of protect us over the coming years.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for the question and the answer. The next question comes from Audra.
Yes, could you please tell me more of the differentiating factors with your competitors and how you're positioned in the marketplace with these different players?
Yeah, so our main competitors are currently using anaerobic digestion, and that is sort of the leading sort of technology out here for sort of waste to energy for organic waste. So as I mentioned, this is just relying on bacteria to break down the waste, and we've got an electrode technology that stimulates that to increase the energy production. We're focusing a lot more on sort of smaller modular systems so we can provide decentralized waste treatment, where a lot of the typical AD suppliers are looking at larger solutions. And for the smaller AD systems such as Q Renewables and CAB, our systems actually end up cheaper because we don't need as many systems to treat the waste. There are a few other companies that are doing something similar to us, such as Cambrium and Aquacycle, but they're much more focused on treating lower strength wastewater to higher strength wastewater and can't handle the solid waste. So we see that we've got a more full complete package for the food and drinks industry.
Okay, thank you very much, Thomas.
Thank you. And the next question comes from Patrick.
Thomas, thanks for your presentation. You have a slide where you mention what comes out of your reactor. Do your customers have to monetize that themselves, or how is the business model working for them if someone else needs to do that?
Yeah, so currently our customers won't need to monetize sort of the energy generation, so they would just offset the current energy demands that they have. So for Forest Road, their brewery, they're currently having to buy oil to then heat up the water for the brewing process. So we would install with this system a combined heat and power system so that they can provide heat and electricity, so they could remove that, so they start generating savings from there. The one aspect where we would look to work with them and monetize going forward would be the fertilizer collection, and we're currently looking at obtaining the correct legislation and permits so that we can then distribute that to farmers locally, and that would be something that we would look at working with and setting up the supply chain for that.
Okay, and is that included in the return on investment, the sale of this biosolids and fertilizer, or is that on top?
So no, that will be on top. So we haven't included that at the moment because we haven't established that full supply chain. So we didn't want to look at that into our profitability model.
Okay, thank you.
We are almost over time, but I would like to invite Hans Meyer to ask the last question, and please a short answer, Thomas. Hans, would you like to ask the question that you have posted in the chat?
Yes, sorry. I have seen similar projects all over Europe, actually. Besides your USP, which I understand, what are your unique arguments actually going for the go-to market in outside the UK?
Yeah, so one thing we're really focused on is actually being able to allow our customers to lease the system. So we're looking at developing finance partnerships, because a lot of the customers we have spoken to, that is a major barrier for them to adopt a system. So by using a leasing model, it means that we reduce that barriers to entry, and we can offer them like a 12-month trial with the system where they can then, we can showcase the value to them and they can start getting instant savings.
You have to spend capital for doing that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's correct.
Thank you everybody for the questions, and thank you Thomas for the presentation and the answer. Now is the time to move to our next presenter, which is going to be Dean from NanoSUN. So Dean, I would like to give you the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me just share my screen. Please, can you let me know if you can see that?
Yes, waiting to come full screen. Perfect. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, so good afternoon again, everyone. My name is Dean O'Connor. I'm NanoSUN CEO. So the environmental, social, and performance benefits of hydrogen are pretty well understood at this stage. So we have to ask ourselves why it has failed to get off the launch pad as a solution for transport fuel, at least until now. Well, the cost of refueling infrastructure definitely plays a very big part in that story. Hydrogen production costs are very scale dependent, and there's a wave of investment in large-scale green hydrogen production worth over 30 billion euros underway across Europe right now. Even then, however, the cost benefits of scale will struggle to translate to price at the pump. Traditional distribution assets and fixed refueling stations require minimum investment of 2 to 3 million euros per site, in addition to the hydrogen production. So the economics just don't stack up, and especially not with regulated hydrogen prices below 10 euros a kilogram. So Little NanoSUN reinvented the hydrogen refueling station. It's mobile, it's less than half the cost, it's called the Pioneer Station. That's the value proposition that we pitched to Shell when we won their 2019 New Energy Challenge. The Pioneer Station combines storage, transportation, and dispensing in a single integrated low-cost package. It's less than half the cost of fixed stations. Being mobile, it can be deployed rapidly, which makes it ideal for fleet demos or setting up new locations. We build Pioneer in a factory using industrial proven components, and hence it's very fast to deploy and it's very scalable. And finally, mobile stations back each other up. They're inherently reliable. We specifically target the heavy duty vehicle categories that store hydrogen on board at 350 bar. These are the hardest to electrify mobility segments, and their high utilization, high mileage, and return to base duty cycles are ideally suited to hydrogen. Deploying the refueling infrastructure required to convert these commercial vehicles in Europe is a huge market opportunity. Just getting to 1% penetration over the next 10 years in Europe alone could be an €8 billion market opportunity. We have growing traction with the leading players across hydrogen, industrial gases, oil and gas, and renewable energies. And now we're building our pipeline of orders. Our backlog for 2022 deliveries is already over £2 million, and the order book is filling quickly enough that we are looking at various options to create more capacity for 2022. Pioneer is disruptive. The few companies that have realized that mobile refueling is necessary to accelerate hydrogen rollout have largely tried to put all the complexity of a traditional filling station into one or two mobile units. What has resulted is systems that are much more costly and complex than our Pioneer. In some cases, fixed stations will compete with Pioneer, but mostly they're complementary components of the refueling network. And for example, we're currently discussing how Pioneer can provide backup for two of the most significant fixed station operators. Hydrogen addresses at least 10 of the UN sustainability goals. And the role of Pioneer in that story is to shorten the time needed to transition fleets to zero carbon vehicles. If we can save 6 months in the deployment of a fleet of just 10 buses, that represents over 300 tons of CO2 emissions saved. Sorry. NanoSUN's board has a track record of success and execution in complex and high growth businesses. The founders, Graham and Noel, pictured here, both excelled in large multinationals and in startups. I bring expertise in corporate scale-ups, and we know each other really well because we've worked together in different ventures for over 20 years. We built out our senior team by drawing on talent from blue chip industrials. Each of them has extensive execution experience in their field. This team leads an organization that has tripled in size during the pandemic and will reach 50 people by the end of 2021. And this is our wider team, an increasingly diverse mix of ages, ethnicity, and gender. Exceeding 100 million euros of revenue by 2025 requires us to reach output of just 200 Pioneer stations a year. As manufacturing scales up, we expect to reach break even around the end of 2023 and to start to see improving EBITDA margins from 2025. And what does it take to deliver this? Well, we estimate that this is roughly a 10% share of our addressable market. We have raised modest seed capital so far and supplemented that with debt and grants, including an EIC accelerator grant. We're now looking to raise £12 million in 2 tranches to support scaling the business and establishment of manufacturing to drive margin. We're looking to close the first tranche of £6 million around the end of Q3 this year. Thanks for your time today. We're located in the northwest of England, and here are some contact details for follow-up, but now I'd love to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you for the presentation, Dean. I would like to welcome the questions, and the first one is flying in. I can see, or actually there are already 2 there. Marcel, would you like to start first?
Yes, maybe I missed it. Well, first of all, thank you for this fantastic presentation. Looks very good. Maybe I missed it, but what is your key technology point? What makes you so unique?
Okay, so I guess the key technology point, Marcel, is it's focused around cost, but it's also about simplification of the value chain. So we base our system on the integration of high pressure storage, distribution, and dispensing in a single package. But what we take out is compression. So compression is the single biggest source of cost and downtime and ongoing operating cost within a fixed station. But compression already happens at the production site where you make large scale hydrogen. So we simply keep it there. We fill the Pioneer station with high pressure, move that to the point where it gets used and it dispenses directly into the vehicles. Simpler, faster, cheaper. So what we have filed IP around is a number of things, one of which is what we call our flexible cascade patent. That's the mechanism by which we take the hydrogen out, preserving the value or the most valuable inventory of high pressure hydrogen, using it only to top off the receiving vessels. So that can be done automatically, it can be done safely, it can be done to fill a range of vessels, it can be done to preserve the lifetime of the distribution assets by changing around the order at which we take the gas out of them.
Another question, if you already have an order book, can't you not ask for a prepayment at your customers?
Yeah, we take 50% down payment. So of the 2 million order book we have for delivery in 2022, we already have £1 million of that cash in the bank. Okay. So we're funding our WIP, but we're not funding our expansion.
Oh. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for the question and the answer. Hans, next question comes from you.
Yeah, it was a bit similar. I was puzzled with the technology in the sense that, if I understand it correctly, you take the pressurized hydrogen already at the electrolyzer plant. So does that mean that you take it at 300 bars? Is it an 800 bar system?
No,
what type of containment do you use?
Sure. Okay, quite a technical question. I mean, our target fill pressure is actually 450 to 500 bar. Current version, we did an MVP at 350 bar. We're targeting to fill to 350, so that's obviously not enough. Our production level that we're putting in play at the end of this year is 450 bar storage, dispensing into 350 bar vehicles. We will go to 500 in a future iteration. We do not have a plan in the near term to go above that, though storage above 500 is possible. The issue is moving the hydrogen over the roads in Europe is currently not permitted under legislation. You're allowed to move it in cars, but not in a storage means.
And is the patent, I mean, you talked a little bit about the patent, but it's also on the containment itself,
No, I mean, the containment is standard industrial storage. There are multiple sources. I mean, one of the things that gives us a competitive advantage is we do have a strategic agreement with the lowest cost of those. But there are multiple others, and actually, I believe that that's an industry that will scale dramatically, and that will be part of the drive to get costs down for overall hydrogen distribution. So, our plan is to continue to leverage standard industrial components. Our technology is around how you optimize removing the hydrogen from the storage, such that you preserve the highest pressure, so that you can fill the maximum number of vehicles to full fills. If you just, normally, storage vessel is all of the cylinders on board are connected in series, and once you open the valve connecting to the receiving vessel, the pressure balances, and the high pressure is what gets used first. But the high pressure is ultimately what you need to get into the receiving vessel, because that determines the amount of stored energy on board that vehicle, and that's what determines range.
Thank you. There are a lot of other questions also in the chat. Hans, I hope this answers it in a way.
Yes, thank you.
Wonderful. Elizabeth, did you find the answer how the hydrogen supply works?
No, not really.
Okay.
Explain that in 1 or 2 sentences.
Sure. Hydrogen supply. I mean, we are not producing hydrogen ourselves. Our customers are the operators of the hydrogen supply value chain. So in some cases, it's people that just want to be midstream, so they don't want to make hydrogen. They want to buy hydrogen from a producer and deliver it to an operator of fleets. So there are lots of companies that exist in the liquid fuel value chain doing that already. And then there are some that actually want to go through the full chain. So there are people like ITM Power who make hydrogen in large electrolyzers. They distribute it to fleets themselves, but they actually want to expand the range of reach for that fuel. And then, of course, it's the major industrial gas companies, it's the major oil and gas companies who are looking to step into the space as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
The next question comes from Hans Meyer.
Yes, thank you very much again. Dean, as you said, when you will starting, because scaling up, you will starting to produce your own, you manufacture your own storage facilities, which means you will have suppliers at your hand, which means that you will be dependent on suppliers. As a manager, as an investor, I would like to know, how you will deal with them, because at the end of the day is I'm going to buy into a company which is going to be dependent on suppliers, which is part of the first part of my question. The second part is I didn't see any equity story or valuation proposal in your presentation.
Okay, so with respect, Hans, I think that show me one company in the world that is not dependent at some level on suppliers, and yeah, and then I'll invest in them too. So we manage our suppliers.
No, I asked you, sorry, excuse me. Yeah. The question is, how are you going to manage the suppliers' risk?
We manage the risk by multi-sourcing. I mean, one of the advantages of the use of standard industrial components is that there's generally more than one source. So we are multi-sourced, or we have the possibility to multi-source at least on all of the key components. We are actually multi-sourced on several, even in the assembly. That's at component level. At subsystem assembly level, we are multi-sourced on all of that. And at the moment, we are currently working with a single strategic partner on final assembly, but our plan is that ultimately we will need to multi-source on that. And in fact, actually, we'll use this equity investment to move into dedicated facilities, which we will do, maybe ourselves or maybe with a strategic partner to control final assembly. In terms of equity valuation, the current valuation of the company at the end of the last seed round post money was about £10 million. That was over a year ago. We've made very significant progress, both in terms of bringing in grant funding, bringing in debt funding, and enhancing the order book. The ultimate valuation in this round, we see it's going to be determined by discussions with the lead investor, but we're looking at something in the range of 25 to 35 million pounds.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. There are other questions in the chat, but we are over time, Dean. So I will advise you either to answer them into the chat or to connect to the people that asked you the questions via the one-to-one meetings and the message option that you have there. Thank you so much again.
Thank you very much.
I would like then to invite Tim from iFLUX to prepare himself. I will just support with sharing my screen just for a second to show you again the gentleman that we are going to see this afternoon. So Tim from iFLUX.
Hello,
have your presentation. Good luck.
Can you see my presentation?
Yes, wonderful.
Okay, perfect. Good afternoon, everybody. As co-founder and CEO, I present you iFLUX. iFLUX is a Belgium-based company and delivers real-time data on ground speed and direction, in addition to passive pollution monitoring. In our opinion, this is the missing link in effective land restoration. Why? Because our water system is under pressure and we are neglecting the most important part of it. Because more than 95% of all available liquid fresh water is underground, and we are over extracting and polluting it. How can we avoid this if it isn't even visible? And that's why iFLUX's mission is to make groundwater visible, and that way we enable more accountable and sustainable climate actions. We are the only company in the world to provide real-time data of pollution, flux, and flow measurement in groundwater. It all started in 2017 with our modular and scalable cartridge sampling system, which captures 127 types of pollutants. It detects pollution flux at very low detection ranges. And we've built some market traction in especially site contamination projects. But with our newest smart groundwater sensing probe, which includes a unique sensor flow chip inside, we are able to measure continuous three-dimensional groundwater flow 24/7. It's unique in detecting the specific low flow groundwater ranges down to centimeter scale a day. And by adding some smart data layers and learning algorithms via our smart groundwater management system, we show our customers the groundwater dynamics via an online dashboard to ensure them the compliances and integrity of the water system. When we look at our current sales, the focus is on the remediation market. Europe alone still has to take care of more than 2 million contaminated sites. We help our clients manage these environmental risks and their liabilities by offering our services to public authorities in combination with industrial polluters. We show them a 40% cost reduction and a 20% shorter duration of the total remediation project. But by adding our unique sensing technologies, we are also able to serve a bigger restoration market. Year over year, we see the impact of droughts on our economy. Institutions over Europe are investing big-scale projects to tackle climate impact on the economy, and our insights help them to control the investment efficiency and also to take it their priority. Also, the agricultural sector will be impacted, I think, most severely in the future. And our growing cities, they will also have to adapt and improve to circular water use, including groundwater, in their more systemic approach. The timeline, we show our expectations when a specific market will be generating recurring revenue. Water monitoring offers a huge market opportunity. Surface and groundwater monitoring is crucial in future land development. But efficient and continuous monitoring is a fast-growing market and will double by 2. And on top of that, what we see is that 25 billion each year is invested in the restoration economy, and 60% of those projects are water-related. Of course, we also face some challenges. Firstly, we have to comply regulations. Secondly, we have to be ready to integrate new low-cost censorships, especially on quality. And finally, we also have to enable international scaling to profit from this market. Our current revenue stream is through a product service model, but we are preparing to move to a data as a service model in the near future. This business model integrates our unique technology and groundwater expertise together with the upcoming Internet of Things technology and lab-on-a-chip sensors. And our go-to-market strategy in the first coming years will consist of performing full service projects, switching as soon as possible to a data as a service provider in the future. Our current track record, we already have a strong partnership with SGS, which is one of the world's leading testing and certification companies, and also with some of Europe's finest R&D units, such as IMEC and WASE. We already have 2 patents granted and currently almost $1 million on product development grants running. Our cartridge technology system proves our customer-oriented market focus with already more than 100 projects and 750K cumulative revenue since our start. And on the map, it shows iFLUX technology has already been used across the world and validated by leading companies such as Dow and Total. The iFLUX team grew to a team of 8, combining technology development and data science, as well as business development and commercial skills. I think our team is well balanced, experienced, and has a strong combination of complementary skills. And I believe we are well equipped to tackle our future challenges. In 2019, we finalized a successful seed round. We are backed by an experienced board team ready to take the next steps. In order to relieve the pressure that groundwater puts on our system, we are currently seeking funding of 2.5 million to close by 2022. And we will use this money firstly to demonstrate the added value of our solution in a large-scale restoration project, and secondly to scale the solution in a worldwide framework. Next step will be on commercial expansion and reaching break-even by 2025. If you want to secure our most important resource, we need your help to make groundwater and its challenges visible. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the presentation, Tim. I can see already 2 questions queuing up into the chat. Hans, would you like to go first? Hans Meyer.
Yes, thank you. 1 second, please. Yes. My question would be, in fact, do you actually have clients already or targeted clients, or do you want to go through partnerships only? That would be interesting. And secondly, is if that's client, is this public clients or are those private clients, or what is the idea about that?
Well, in the remuneration sector, we have a lot of private clients. Of course, it's a heavily regulated market. So let's say the public authorities is always in one step involved, but we have a lot of industrial clients in the market. At this stage, let's say we do the sales funnel ourselves and the sales strategy, but we experience that indeed to internationalize and to scale. We are now seeking for partnerships.
Can I just add a question? What are actually the property rights on groundwater? I mean, who owns the water in the ground? If I'm an industrial company, the water in the ground under my terrain, is that me, or is this actually part of the public?
That's a very good question. I think it's a part of the public. That's also why it's regulated. But as a company, you are responsible for, let's say, the environmental impact that you cause to the groundwater. And of course, groundwater is something that is dynamic. It flows. That's also the key of our solution. And to control those liabilities off grid, off terrain, you are still responsible as a company.
Thank you. We have other two questions into the chat and only 2 minutes. So Tim, please try to be as short as possible and straight to the point. Hans Meinaut, would you like to go next with your questions?
Yes. I mean, I've been involved in a couple of M&A transactions where contaminated soil was involved. So what they typically do is they drill a well and then they sample the groundwater for contaminants. Is that what you're competing with? And if so, can your system then detect a wide variety of contaminants, or is it very specific?
Yes, indeed. This is the market where we are in, and our extra dimension is time and space. So we measure the dynamics, the effective risk of spreading, instead of a static monitoring.
But does that also mean that you can, because the advantage of taking a sample is you can run it through multiple laboratory tests and you can screen for thousands of different contaminants. Is your system able to do that as well?
Yeah, that's comparable. We have more than 120 parameters which are related to the typical industrial contaminants. For example, the PFAS, which is now very
popular in Belgium. Yeah.
Popular in Belgium. We have a PFAS cartridge which is able to detect a set of 30 of the PFAS family, let's say.
So it's a question of different cartridges to be inserted.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. And the last question comes from Elizabeth.
Yeah, looking at the logos like Shell, I'm a bit worried. So what do you think about the socioeconomic impact of the data that you measure? Do you have any agenda there?
No. For this, if we work for, of course, private companies, we search for a solution for them. So maybe I don't understand your question quite well, or what do you mean with the socio-economic impact?
Whoever has information about groundwater can use it to his or her benefits, and interests might not be aligned between public and private entities.
Yeah, we have to, let's say, follow the rules. You also, in Belgium, for example, you have also an obligation to, let's say, to inform the public authorities if needed, in some cases.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Tim, for the presentation. Thank you, dear jury members, for the questions you asked just right away. And we are moving forward to our fourth company, and this is ColdPath. And And I would like to invite Jean-Philippe to start sharing his screen.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Can you see my screen?
Not there yet. Yeah, it's coming. Wonderful. We can see your screen.
Okay, hang on. All right. Hello, I am Jean-Philippe Cour from Colpat. Imagine that you work in a nuclear power plant. You need to connect an electric box or a pipe support onto the concrete walls. It looks easy. You just need to drill a hole, place a dowel, and drive the screw. Well, let's look a bit more into details. One of the issues with drilling is the risk of interferences with embedded items such as rebars. To make sure that the drill bit will not clash with the steel reinforcement, you will have to scan the concrete surface to detect the rebars, and of course, it will show some clashes. Then you'll have to document your drilling plan to the Nuclear Security Agency for approval, which will take weeks. And you have not yet drilled one hole. We have developed a revolutionary fastener to get rid of drilling and dowels. The market of classic dowels concrete is about $4 billion per year. Our product is called C-Block. It's a game changer. It's a non-intrusive mechanical fastener. This means that you can install but also uninstall fasteners, leaving the surface intact with no holes. Let's take an example of scaffolding activity in operating nuclear power plants. Our value proposition is to install it twice faster and 35% cheaper than with conventional dowels. That time saving is also important for safety of personnel who will be less exposed to radioactivity just because it takes less time on station. So what does it look like? It consists of a fastener, C-Block, and an automated power tool for the installation. This power tool does all by itself. It's repeatable and reliable. The breakthrough, it's non-intrusive with a great flexibility of use, no vibration and no noise. The anti-seismic performances are obtained through a composite layer made of bio-based material, which is 3D printed. The 3D printing macrostructure provides a unique mechanical behavior. The technology has been jointly patented with EDF a year ago, and more generally, we own 30 patents over 4 families around this technology. And we are now proudly labeled by the French Nuclear Valley. Our objective is to democratize adhesive bonding for heavy industries. Our team is made of 17 full-time employees, mainly structural engineers, researchers, and material science specialists. We are experts in structural bonding with a strong focus on reliability and durability. We proved our capacity to generate significant revenues, and we have implemented a robust governance. Today, we have the capacity to deliver to few niche markets, such as the nuclear industry. In this market, we sell at high prices, first because we can, but also because our unit costs are high for now. We know that we can reach a much deeper market with lower unit price. We even believe that we could reach a B2C market at the end of the day. How can we achieve this? Simply by lowering our cost for both the consumables and the power tool. This is possible through a design to cost exercise and scaling to mass production, as we want to be able to deliver about 5 million fasteners in 2029. Due to the feature of the fastener combined with the power tool, we have a specific business model in mind. We want to partner with a major industrial company like Eyndt or Bosch. Ideally, the industrial partner will be our distributor and our licensor. He will be in charge of the industrialization of our power tool under Colpat license. He will have access to our fastener that will be produced by another manufacturing company, also under Colpat license. And this way, we can reach his large and relevant customer base already in place. Also, we'll keep our know-how by controlling the fastener's technology, evolution and fabrication, and create recurring revenue. With this licensing strategy and revenue streams, we plan on growing up to 125 million euro turnover and 30% EBITDA in 2029. 30% is quite common for licensing business. We started with marine sector, where we already generated 1.7 million euro revenue for the past 2 years.
we will now follow our roadmap with the nuclear market, in which we already have letters of intent for more than 40,000 fasteners. To achieve that growth, we are looking for 5.7 million euros, which can be a mix between equity and convertible bonds. Money will be therefore used on 3 main axes. The first one will be the focus on the mass production of the fastener to reduce their unit cost. We also educate the market and grow our sales pipeline with newly hired salespeople. And last, we'll get the support from a senior business developer to organize a competitive and professional licensing process. Asset life extension will be the key in the future. We have the enabling technology to make the structures last longer with less, and we are looking forward to working with you. That's it.
Thank you, Jean-Philippe, for the presentation. Thank you so much. I would like then to open the floor for the questions from the jury members in the room. In the meantime, until we get the first question, please feel free to add anything that you didn't have the time to share with us. Okay, the first question is there from Marcel.
Thank you so much for this very interesting presentation.
Thank you.
I'm still a little puzzled about the technology. So can you explain a little bit further what is exactly happening?
What is it exactly? It's a bonded mechanical fastener, okay, which is installed by a power tool. So you have both the consumable, which is the bonded mechanical fastener, and the power tool. And the idea is to get an anchor point with non-intrusive technology. So no hole, no welding, nothing. It's done by a superficial adhesion.
And can you also demount it after a while?
Yes, we can install it and uninstall it for steel and for concrete. For concrete, we have a way to disinstall, to uninstall within 2 or 3 minutes. The lifetime duration, if you leave it there, is between 60 years and 100 years. It's made for the nuclear industry, which is the lifetime they are targeting.
And what is the security? Is it 100% reliable?
Yes, we are making a lot of. We have made hundreds of tests. We are working with the CSTB, which is a national laboratory in France for this type of equipment. We do that in team with EDF, which is we have their concrete specialists for that. And at the end of the day, we have the European EAD stamp to be allowed to work within the nuclear power plants.
And last question, do you think that in the far future it will also be possible to sell it in the private markets, so in the do-it-yourself shop?
Yes, this is what I said when I say we are contemplating the B2C market at the end of the day. First, we will reach the premium markets such as nuclear power plants, but also offshore steel structure to have the high price and premium product. And then when we have the scale effect and we can go to eco mode to reach before a B2C market, maybe the building industry, and we'll go through civil dams and so on. So the path is from the top to the bottom. But yes, in 5 to 10 years time, we would like to reach the DIY.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Gentlemen, the next questions come from Hans Menot.
Yeah, I think some of these questions have already been answered on the type of materials that you can actually join this way. Leads me to another question. You mentioned metal. Does that mean, or steel? Does that mean for offshore structures that you can actually replace welding?
Yes.
And if so, how do you deal with classification and certification?
Okay, thank you for the question. Offshore steel structure are our first market. We have been working for years for that. We are coming from the offshore market, and we do have a certification for some of our products by the 4-class society, Bureau Veritas, Datnorske Veritas, Lloyd's, and American Bureau of Shipping. And yes, it does replace welding. The whole idea is to avoid hot work. Hot work can be painful if you are producing oil, and the risk of explosion is present, is really there. And avoiding welding in this condition is a great value. So we are coming from the same angle, but for concrete, for nuclear power plant, but for more for interference and non-intrusive technology, which is good for EDF.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jean-Philippe, for the presentation and answering all the questions. Now is the time to invite on stage our fifth company of the day. And this is Alessandro Villa, who is going to be the presenter.
Hey, can you see it?
We can see your screen. If
okay,
you please make
nice.
it on full screen, perfect.
Perfect.
Time
Thank you.
is yours.
Good afternoon to everybody. I'm actually Alessandro Zecca, and I'm glad to be here to present you the mangrove technology platform. The solution Planet is developing in order to broaden and to increase the soil and water availability to reforest at the scale to achieve carbon neutrality. In Planet, we decided to focus on agroreforestation project because trees are currently the most effective and promising solution to capture CO2 from the atmosphere. And it has the ability to cut CO2 by the 25%. However, we need to consider that trees planting requires fresh water and fertile soils, which actually are not really available, and reforestation at large scale can put food security at risk because significant water and land use requirements. We need also to consider that these resources are also highly demanded by the agricultural sector. That's why we developed what we have called the Mangrove Technology Platform, that is an innovative integration of three core technologies, enabling agroreforestation project on dry land and using saline water instead of fresh water. And we do it including three core technologies: solar desalination units, which treat seawater and produce fresh water, leveraging on evaporation and condensation process triggered by sun irradiation. Then we use this fresh water to activate organic incubators, which are actually able to foster plant growth even in critical conditions. And then we complete the system with IoT sensors able to monitor the whole process and to collect and analyze data. Moreover, we designed the platform to be modular, which means that we are able to have installations that are decentralized, scalable, and with low gradual investments. All these aspects actually allow us to remove the main barrier for the diffusion, for a large diffusion of the agroreforestation project, which is, as I mentioned before, the most promising solution for the CO2 removal, because it is the most efficient, it is low cost, and provides several benefits at environmental, social, and economical level. We performed a market analysis. We identified several competitors in the market, already playing in the market, and we categorized them as direct and indirect competitors. At the moment, the Mangrove Technology Platform is at its TRL 7, thanks to a series of grants we received during the last years. In particular, thanks to the Hydrorusa project that is within the frame of the Horizon 2020, which allowed us actually to realize our first real-scale demonstrator in Tinos Island in Greece. Then with the MTP, we actually target the B2B clients, in particular, trees planting providers, carbon offset traders, and public and private consortia. This scheme allows us to frame three main revenue streams. So selling the trees to a premium cost, because it's higher the value we assign to the trees, which actually is not only able to absorb or to capture CO2, but also to regenerate land without using fresh water. Then we provide carbon credits verified by blockchain technology, and this is possible thanks to the data collected and analyzed by the IoT system. And then we deal with worldwide licensing fee to allow us to have fixed incomes and long-term partnerships. Of course, we find a series of steps to complete the maturation of the technology. Some pass from the TRL 7 to 9. We envisage to do it by 2024, and then to be able to enter the market by 2026. This is about the cost and revenue assumption. While finally, I present the Planet team with Alessandro Villa and Alessandro Benciardi, who are actually the two co-founders of Planet, which also present a strong experience on R&D sector and technicians who actually are able to assemble and install the system. Finally, Planet is looking for a contribution to cover the gap of the maturation of the technology, to verify the revenue streams, and also to complete the IP process, and so to be able to complete the maturation by 2024 and enter the market by 2026. That's all, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Alessandro, for the presentation. We are now welcoming the expert jury members to type down their questions into the chat. Audra is having the first question. Audra?
Yes, could you please elaborate more on your IP strategy, which then makes me want to know, definitely, if you can tell me what is your secret sauce, that in regards to your direct competitors, what is that one main secret sauce of yours that really differentiates you?
Actually, we have already performed some analysis on this. We operate our freedom to operate analysis, and this actually gave us how to say, it defined the system as unique because it integrates technologies that are not that have not been integrated before. So that's the main, let's say, added value compared to the other technologies, or better, to the other competitors, actually, not technologies.
Okay, and your IP?
Regarding the IP, we are still, it's pending. Let's say we have deposited a design model within the, it's called the harmonization office in Europe, and we are proceeding with the IP protection, because I mean, this analysis also, the freedom to operate, basically declared that MTP can be patentable. So we are proceeding also on that way.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Audrey, for the question. Thank you, Alessandro, for the answers. Who would like to ask another question? We have time for sure for one more. It looks like you were very clear, Alessandro.
I hope, yeah.
Actually, I think what would be great if you could tell the rest of the jury, because you went very quickly through your competitive, landscape. And I think what's great if you can present to the jury, really what differentiates you from these direct competitors and, the indirect, because you swiftly went through it. And I think this will be positive.
Keep it. Yeah. Right now, you mean? I didn't understand.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I didn't.
Please share the slide again and be more specific, if they want to hear more.
Yeah, we actually perform basically, how to say, two levels of competitive analysis. Basically, the first one is that technological approach to remove the CO2. So thanks to this metrics, actually, this is extracted by a benchmark from the economists. So this is a resume of that. We can declare that afforestation is actually at least currently the optimal solution for CO2 removal. While in the afforestation sector, we identified, I mean, some competitors. It's not really crowded yet, at least as the market, and we categorize them as primary competitors, secondary and tertiary competitors based on the product and technologies they provide and the clients they target. So basically, we position ourselves as in the first line that you can see here. So basically, providing agroreforestation project with that it's not high tech, because for example, secondary competitors provide high tech agroreforestation, which means involving drones, for example, for the seeding activities. Between our primary competitors, the one is really, I mean, close to our approach is the terraformation, for example, which actually doesn't use soil desalination, but reverse osmosis desalination. And here the difference is basically that for reverse osmosis, you need basically a grid connection. That's in our case, the need for electrical connection is reduced because we need it only for power the hydraulic infrastructure, while the main process, so the evaporation and condensation, is only triggered by sun irradiation. So it's basically passive. Yeah, I don't know, I could go further, but yeah.
Thank you, Alessandro. We are slightly over time already, and in respect of time of the session, we'll need to move forward. But thank you for the more details that you gave us. Maybe next time you can, of course, emphasize a little bit more on that.
Yeah.
And now is the time to invite Mateusz on stage to share with us the last presentation of Sunmetric. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. All is okay?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, thanks. Hello, my name is Mateusz. I'm from Sunmetric and I'm a business development manager here. And I would like to present you something about our child. Okay, let's start. It is calculated that till the end of 2024, those 8 European markets, biggest in Europe, will grow their solar power market to the following values in gigawatts. Another calculation shows that Poland, which is the fastest growing market in the context of solar power, will have about 1.5 million micro installations on houses in another 4 years. I will try to put this into some ecological perspective, because we are all aware of the greenhouse effect and climate change due to the high emission of carbon dioxide. But yet we are still facing those giant power plant. This is the Bełchatów power plant located in central Poland, 1,070 kilometers from the capital, Warsaw. It's a single facility that emits the most carbon dioxide in the entire European Union. This giant ejects about 33 million tons of carbon dioxide annually, with an installed power of around 5.3 gigawatts in energy. The area occupied by this power plant is above 3,000 hectares. On the other hand, we have a medium-sized residential house, about 100 square meters, with roof size about 150 square meters. According to estimate, it needs a power of around 6 kilowatts, which generates about 3 tons of carbon dioxide per year. This, of course, reduces the power plant balance I showed you before. So one power plant supplies electricity to 1 million houses, and we asked ourselves, what if these 1 million homes had their own power stations? Yes. In Sunmetric, we have a mission to create a solution that will help accelerate transformation from fossil fuels into solar energy. Okay, but first of all, how sales process in PV market works or look like today. So if you are a salesman, you have to, you must follow these steps. First of all, you had to find the customer, contact him, visit him in person. That's the first problem. Take a measurement of the roof. So that's the second problem. Because probably you must jump up there, calculate sun power on the right roof area. So that's the third problem, and make a bidding and be faster than competition. So that's the fourth problem. So at the end of the sales process, there is always a question, hardly ever asked, how can I make it faster and more efficient to really accelerate the transformation I talked before. So we introduce Sunmetric remote roof audits. We deliver all kind of information needed to the roof, and analyze it with results like insulation, shading, roof angles, roof area, roof edges, and obstacles like roof windows. We make it on this satellite imagery. So you need to only put the address, and our neural network will do the rest for you. So this is some real life examples. As you can see, once we get the analysis, we can even calculate the size of your installation based on a real life example about the amount of sun going on your roof or roof area. Currently, our competition focus only on designing PV installation, or like Project Sunroof from Google, only to show the amount of sun reflects on your roof, but this works only in United States, not on the entire planet. Our business model consists of two approaches. We want to develop a license model with integration with CRM-like solutions, and with software solutions that are designed to make constructions of PV installations. On the other hand, we want to address some enterprise clients with on-demand area recognition or analysis. Our roadmap of development consists of designing and visualizing roof installation. Next, analysis and detection of industrial roofs. So we can go to B2B client after B2C market. Recognition of existing installation on this on satellite images, going to SaaS SaaS software, After that, we want to focus on tool for large-scale ground installations, and we want to make a transition to other markets like construction market, and after that transition, we want to make some remote audits about anything that is on the ground and viewable on satellite images. Oh, sorry. Our team is highly motivated and consists of motivated specialists. Sorry, and this is the only core team of Sunmetric, but we have also some AI enthusiasts and AI developers on board as well. We are looking for $1.5 million of seed round in exchange of 15% shares. We want to use this money on software development, sales and marketing, and also some project management as well. So that's the Sunmetric, which make remote roof audits. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mateusz, for the presentation. It took a little bit of time over, and this means that you'll have less time for questions. I'm sorry about that, but the rules are strict. The first question comes from Kim.
Yeah, can you just tell me then quickly if it is, how difficult it is for the competitors to do, and what do you have to build barriers to keep them out or keep other people doing the same?
Currently, we are working on some advanced neural network models that can keep our competition away. And also, we are working with some companies that provide high resolution imagery from satellites. And so that's also the advantage we want to make in front of our competition.
I would actually like to pitch into that. Hello, I'm CEO of Sunmetric and also the primary person behind the technology. So the problem is to tier. We've got two different issues. The one is the data, so the access to high resolution satellite images that are up to date. That's one thing. And the second is that it's easy right now for other companies, let's say, to do the classification and the segmentation of the roof. So let's say to detect the roof and maybe even calculate the area. But what is actually very difficult and requires you to build your own neural network is to calculate the edges and be able to determine the shape of the building in 3D, which is important for us to place correctly the photovoltaic panels. And that's our own technology that we develop over a time of 2 years. So it will take a lot of time.
Okay, thank you. Kim, does this answer? Okay, thumb up. If there is another short question, please shoot it now, whoever would like to go. Wonderful. Thank you, Mateusz, for the presentation one more time. I would like to share my screen.
Thank you very much.
I would like to share my screen one more time as well. Thank you to all the presenters and thank you to all the jury members that joined us this afternoon. We are now closing the session. In the chat, my colleague Victoria is going to share a link with our satisfaction survey. We'll be more than happy to hear from you. How did we perform during the session so you can help us perform better the next time. And I would like to use the opportunity to remind you about the one-to-one meetings through our TechTour platform. You are welcome to use them this afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, and the whole afternoon on Friday. Thank you so much and wish you a lovely afternoon. Thank you, everybody. And goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.